Hey, everybody. I hope you can see me. Send something in the YouTube text chat message if you can hear me. Can you see me? Are we live? Cara, I think you need to turn your microphone on because I can't hear you. You ready to go? Obviously, this is the premiere episode of 6 Feet Apart with Cara and Pierce. That's Cara. I'm Pierce. Cara, how are you? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. It turns out you have to push the join audio button.
All right, bravo. Well, we hope everybody enjoyed the first episode of 6 Feet Apart with Cara and Pierce. Thanks for watching. Good night. Well, I'm glad to see things are off to a flying start. I'm still learning Zoom technology, but ladies and gentlemen, we will get through this.
This is like our soft open.
Yeah. Soft, emphasis on the soft. So good evening again. Welcome to 6 Feet Apart with Cara and Pierce. I'm the Pierce part. And with me, as always, my storytelling partner in crime.
Cara Foran, that's me. Quarantined in Washington, D.C., the Brooklyn neighborhood, Northeast. Haven't really left the house much since March, what was it, 12th.
Well, I've been posting up in the Adams Morgan, Columbia Heights part of Washington, D.C., and I'm holding it together, I think. I was unemployed before the quarantine, and I'm still unemployed. I was unemployed before being unemployed was cool.
Who knew you were going to land on this coronavirus?
No, boy, I'm making the best of this. But I know we had this great title slide set up and ready to go, which I didn't get to show. But we have this little like teaser of what Cara and I have been up to. So I'm going to pull this together, and Cara, you entertain the folks for a little bit while I figure this out.
The thing I'm most excited about for this podcast, besides the fact that I put on makeup for the first time since March 13th for it, is that we got like 20 questions on the question.
Title slide set up and ready to go, which I didn't get to show. But we have this little. Cara, you need to mute your computer. And I have been up to.
I did.
So
that's not me.
I'm going to put this together, and Cara, you entertain the folks a little bit while I figure this out.
The thing I'm most excited about for this podcast, besides the fact that I put on makeup for the first time since March 13th for it, is that we got like 20 questions on the.
That's all you, Pierce.
Thank God.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It was me. I admit it. I'm going to pass the reins of this over. I liked how our virtual guest, Graham Campbell, was in the virtual green room being like, Pierce, it's you. It's you. Close that window. Close that window, asshole. Television history being made.
I'm super excited that there are so many questions from our readers for us to answer.
Yeah, there were over 500 questions submitted. Do you believe that?
Sure, yes, sure there were.
Well, we're gonna get to questions in a minute. I'm trying to call up these amazing slides. And as soon as I do, I'm gonna share this screen with you. And
yeah, we're gonna share some content that we've been creating because we're content creators.
Yes. Obviously not show producers. So here we go. There was the amazing title slide that I wanted all of you to see when we came out to the sound of, crescendo, an announcer saying something like, for the first time anywhere. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So moving into our first bit. Hey, Cara. So what have you been up to?
Well, I cook and clean and do conference calls. That's my life. That's what I do now as a person. So here's an example of a meal that I made my child, and I made a meme out of it that I'm pretty proud of. I can't read it because it's on this tiny little Zoom screen, but it says, "Oh, may I offer you a side of crushed hopes and dreams about the kind of mom you'd be in a pandemic with this?" So this is a boxed macaroni and cheese and L-I-L Smokies, which I had left over in the refrigerator since Christmas when I thought I was going to throw a Christmas party, but thankfully came to my senses and did not. And to keep it healthy, sugar-free barbecue sauce that tasted like absolute ass. So unfortunately, we had to throw all those away, which feels extra wrong during a pandemic. And that's been Pandemic Cooking with Cara. Until we get to slide 2 or 3, whatever it is, the next one,
Whoops, there we go.
where things stand now, because I shipped my child off breaking quarantine to her grandmother's in Ohio so that I could keep my job, because I heard you can't get through on the unemployment lines. And now this is what I eat. I did a Costco order, 2 flats of Diet Coke. That's like 70 Diet Cokes or something, going through those at a pretty good clip. Blue Diamond Smokehouse almonds. That's the big bag because I'm worth it. And this thing I discovered, shiitake mushrooms. Now, you're thinking to yourself, number 1, that looks delicious. And number 2, what an interesting low carb treat, but it turns out they're covered with sugar. But I did not let that stop me. I ate them anyway.
Wait a minute. Wait. The shiitake mushrooms are covered in sugar?
Yeah. It's like 19 grams of carbs per sniff. Keith is trolling us. I'm sorry. I hope those of you are.
What is the point? What is the point? So these are
like
supposed to be like snacky treats?
Yeah, it's like a giant bag of dried shiitake mushrooms, and it's very crunchy and salty and earthy, if I may say so. Kind of has like a little beef bouillon thing going on, although I believe it's vegan, although I'm not. And then, yeah. And when I posted this, one of my friends posted a puking emoji for the mushrooms, which I was upset about. And somebody snack shamed me for killing the California ecosystem by eating almonds, which I do feel bad about, but also it's a national emergency. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep eating them.
All right, well, this has been Cooking with Cara. Are we ready for the next bit? I think this one has got a little bit more, this is a non-food related post. You ready for this one, Cara?
Yeah,
is it still in the deck? Tell us about this little exchange, please.
Oh yeah, this was a good one. So I was trolling the Instagram like I do, and one of my friends, who I know because our kids go to school together, sent me a text of the soccer coach from one of our kids, from the rec league, like doing a video. And he's like a tiny little Scottish man, and anyone who knows me knows that I'm an accent whore. So I was like, did you send this to me? Because you know I'm an accent whore. And I thought it was really going to be like a turning point in our friendship, you know, that she knew that much about me. I was a little bit surprised. But no, it was her 10-year-old daughter texting me, not the mom. So now I told Avery's 10-year-old friend that I'm an accent whore, and I'm sure that led to a lot of questions at home, much like when I read Deanie by Judy Blume in 3rd grade and asked my mom what masturbate meant, which was a really tender moment in my family's life.
Judy Blume, we owe her so much as a nation for all the awkward conversations Catholic kids had with their parents over the past 5 decades. So let's pause a moment and thank Judy Blume. To Judy Blume. All right, well, how have I been doing? Hey, thanks for asking. I've been watching a lot of Little House on the Prairie, because Half Pint and Pa Ingalls are 2 role models that I look up to on a regular basis. Plus, more importantly, because of my unemployment status, I got rid of cable recently, right before the pandemic.
Ooh.
So I've been watching a lot of Little House on the Prairie reruns, which, you know, Pa Ingalls, like I said, great role model for these troubled times. Like, for every wayward 1 episode character that comes through the town, Pa Ingalls and Half Pint are right in the thick of it. And so is that nosy Mrs. Olson, who's always sticking her nose in the business where no one wants it, right, Cara?
I hate that lady, Harriet.
Oh man, Harriet.
Get a hold of yourself.
But the Ingalls aren't the only great American family I've been catching up on. There's another great 1970s television show, which apparently, if you don't have cable, is on morning, noon, and night. And I've been watching it morning, noon, and night. And yes, you can guess that, ladies and gentlemen, what it is. It's All in the Family, which happened to be my grandfather's favorite show back in the early 70s. And the Bunker family reminds me a lot of my family, or at least time at my grandparents' house, because man, there always was a lot of yelling. So
man, I hated the show so much. Ugh. I like the song though.
You know what? I don't know if you all have seen this lately or watched an episode of All in the Family. With today's perspective, it's a little bit interesting, and I know it's groundbreaking TV, or allegedly groundbreaking TV, and Norman Lear produced, a number of powerful television shows, but wow. Just watch an episode, you'll know what I mean. So besides watching TV, I've been poaching a shit ton of eggs, because that's what I do every day. I make poached eggs. And then if they turn out nice, I photograph them. And this is just a small sampling of some photos that I've taken in the past week of my poached eggs. Now, people love my poached eggs, and they've kind of they become influencers on their own. So many people have been asking me to do a how to poach video. So this past weekend, after great urging and cajoling from my long-suffering girlfriend, Kit Bartels, we shot what is quite possibly the greatest how to poach egg video in the history of how to poach egg videos, or one of the greatest bits of absurdist humor ever in the history of absurdist humor.
Obviously I watched your video because, we support each other's artistic endeavors. And I have to say, I've been following your poaches on Instagram for a long time. I appreciate the zen, simple beauty of them. But watching I'm aware of what kind of production work behind the scenes goes into making a video like the poach video. And it made me wonder, what do the eggs represent for you, Pierce? They're like the sex organs of a chicken that you lovingly source in this time when food is scarce.
Whoa.
And you gently coddle them in warm water for a specified amount of time. I noticed there was a lot of ritual involved, which I frankly wasn't expecting. You add a little vinegar, maybe because life has its sour moments. I don't know. Could you expand on that a little bit?
I mean, I don't want to say you're reading way too much into this, but I am a creature of habit. I do like the almost monastic approach to poaching eggs every morning. And I do think there is some nobility in trying to find perfection in doing the same task over and over again, while simultaneously finding new elements of beauty in the same thing. So yeah, I know people think it's a big gas and a lark, but I really take my poaching and my poach photography seriously. And
I know you do.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but just in time for Christmas, there's going to be a coffee table book featuring some of my greatest poach photography. So stay tuned.
Wow.
Stay tuned for
Pierce
that.
and poach.
What's that?
Pierce and poach.
We're losing you, Cara.
With eggs.
Moving on. This is the one last thing.
I cannot hear you any longer.
What?
Nope, I sure can't. Can you guys hear him? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was a picture of me shot by my girlfriend, long-suffering Kit Bartels, when we did the museum challenge. I hope you like it. It's on my Instagram account, along with all the pictures of my poached eggs. So, without further ado, we should have never gotten rid of that production staff. I think it's time to introduce our guest for the evening. Cara, can we hear you now?
I can hear you now. I just couldn't. Yeah, I can hear you. I
There
fixed it.
Thank you.
Yes, let's bring our guest on. Absolutely. Do you want to do the intros?
I'll let you do the intro.
Oh shit, that was a trick question. Ladies and gentlemen, for our very first episode of 6 Feet Apart with Cara and Pierce, we have invited Graham Campbell to be our guest to talk about funny shit, quarantine life, and patrolling these DC streets in our time of national blah, 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 blah. So Pierce, if you know how, bring him on the screen.
Oh, I think he already is on the screen.
I'm on the screen.
Look at that, it's working.
And I want to say thank you for inviting me to this well-oiled machine you guys are doing. I appreciate it completely.
Okay, but you guys, well, first of all, Graham, how are you doing? Where are you quarantining? What's going on?
Yep, good. Quarantining. Currently I live in DC, but I'm quarantining during the week in Delray, Virginia, or Alexandria, but the Delray neighborhood, my girlfriend Brooke's house. And then I go home usually on Saturday morning, and I police Saturday evening, and then spend Sunday, and then I come back Sunday night. So yeah, it's going all right. It's hard to tell. Like you said, it's like week whatever.
Yeah.
But she feeds me, so she made chicken quesadillas. So I mean, I can't leave here. I'll die if I leave here.
Yeah, she's been cooking up a storm.
Yeah, so it's how she cooks. She gets bored and she cooks, so it's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
mushrooms and almonds for you.
Speaking of which, I saw this picture. If I can do this right. So I don't know if you're seeing that, Graham. Graham, this is a picture of you throttling mac and cheese.
That's Hawaiian mac salad, and it's delicious. And that was where she made Hawaiian mac salad, which is like macaroni salad, but like it's more creamy than like your picnic mac salad or macaroni salad. And so she made a bunch of it, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to get some." And then she's like, "Oh, I'll take a bowl." And I was like, "No. I will take this giant bowl, and we will share a spoon because nothing matters anymore, and it's okay." So yeah, it was delicious.
Does it have Spam and pineapple in it? That's my assumption.
So it does not, but we're also supposed to make, and it's funny because my parents called like last week and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have Spam," and I'm like, "You should make Spam musubi," which is like how they do in Hawaii, which is like with nori and rice. You fry the Spam, it's delicious, right? So we're gonna make that. The problem is that behind her house is an Aldi, and the only place she shops at is an Aldi. So which is great because it's super convenient, but they don't have nori, so that's like a special trip. So we gotta go somewhere to find nori. So.
Okay, well that does sound like a quarantine treat.
Indeed, it is.
Okay, you guys, I've been saving this crazy story that I managed to have a lot of drama without leaving the house for the past however many days. So picture it. Yesterday, what day was it? Wednesday. I work all day, which just involves sitting on my ass and doing conference calls. That's all I do. And then, because I'm cool, I'm a cool mom, I had arranged a Zoom call with some of my cool mom friends to talk about parenting children with anxiety, which was a hot hour-long discussion. And then we got off the phone. It's like 8:30. I make myself dinner, a healthy dinner of chicken chili, which I consumed sitting on my couch. And then I began to feel very strange. Now, let me preface this by saying I didn't have anything to drink and I didn't take anything weird. I was just like a normal person eating some healthy, dairy-free, gluten-free chicken chili on my couch. And I was like, oh my God, I think that was bad. Like, I feel really weird. I'm nauseous. I feel lightheaded. Stood up to go upstairs because that's where I like to throw up, where the bathroom is. I think that's normal. And by the time I got to my stairs, I was like, oh no, something is really terribly, terribly wrong. But then what I think happened is my brain went offline. but my body briefly stayed online, and I climbed a few of the stairs, and then I fainted, and then I woke up at the bottom of the stairs, very confused and disoriented, sort of half in a heap of board games I had left at the bottom of the stairs. And I called 911 for the first time in my life. So I never called 911 when I was like, I live in DC, so I call for gunshots all the time and like traffic accidents and stuff. I've had a lot of peeping Toms that I've called 911 on, but never for like personal injury. But I had to call.
So what happened?
It's called a vasovagal syncope, which is going to be the name of my rock band when this shit is all over, for sure. It means you fainted. That's weird.
Did you have the vapors?
What?
Did you have the vapors like Mrs. Olsen in Little House?
No idea. No idea. Something irritated my vagus nerve, which I knew I had, but have never thought about. I've never done anything to her before. I didn't mean to irritate her.
So DC Bravest came and like took your blood pressure and whatever, and checked you out.
And they were like, "Do you want to go to the ER?" And I was like, "Well, fuck no, I don't want to go to the ER. We're in the middle of a pandemic." And then I was like, "God damn it! What is today? I've been quarantined for like 50 something days. I've been immaculate in my quarantine. I have Lysoled so many fucking grocery bags. I haven't gone into any stores. I've not let anyone into my home. And who's the first person that comes in?
Yeah.
EMTs. God bless them, but not the people that you want laying a tender hand on you in the middle of a pandemic.
No, they've seen lots of people.
I know. I mean,
Did you shower and bleach afterwards?
What?
Did you shower and bleach afterwards?
No, I couldn't even stand up. I didn't shower and bleach. I like crawled up to my room. I called my sister who's sheltering in place when she fatigue, and I was like, "Thanks for leaving me here, Brie. I just fell down the stairs and almost died. I'm gonna be riding that shit for years."
Wow. See, I thought I had the coup de grace in stories yesterday.
Is that what we're calling it? Was it a coup de grace? I don't know.
Well, I mean, this isn't a competition, and my heart goes out to you, Cara. All I'm saying is that what your experience yesterday was far worse than my impromptu mid-run bathroom break in Rock Creek Park.
Yeah, that was what I was questioning, whether you could call that a moment of grace. It's more like a moment of gross, if you will.
Coup de gross.
Graham Campbell, you are a reserve officer in the MPD.
Wait, hang on. Did you shit yourself in Rock Creek Park? I mean, we can talk about these things, but I just want to get to, you can't be like, I had this awkward moment. And then you're like,
no, Graham. The question is, did you shit yourself in Rock Creek Park again?
Oh, yeah. Because you do it twice. It's like you have to like probably go on a list. The park police want to know.
Twice. When I die, they're erecting a monument in Rock Creek Park with my name on it. But enough about me. Graham, reserve police officer. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that the right term?
That's correct. That is correct. A reserve officer, in DC.
Now, one of the many things that I love about you is your reports that you post on Facebook from time to time, which kind of encapsulate events of the past tour, and you share little witty insights and some not so witty, more serious insights into life on the beat. Just can you give us a little background on how you fell into that? You took up that opportunity, and kind of your insights now about patrolling during the pandemic.
So I mean, I think I'm a reserve officer in DC, which means I work like once a week, twice a week, usually once a week. I don't get paid. And before this, many moons ago, I was a career officer in New York City, where I did get paid. I was a cop in New York, and I remember I have stories from New York a lot, but like I didn't take a lot of notes. I didn't take a lot of like notes. And also, it wasn't the kind of thing that you could. I mean, Facebook wasn't really a thing, but it wasn't the thing you could really share not anonymously. The department wasn't super cool about it. So now in my new sort of cop role, I sort of have this like easier time in sort of writing about stuff. And yeah, I think I just sort of, everyone thinks like when I tell people I do this, there's a lot of weird reactions, but a lot of them are like, "Oh, thank you. Like you're a hero every day." And I'm like, that, no. So, I think there's some, it's always nice to put into context things you see. And so I think, it's been unique. I used to work across the river in DC in the 7th district, which is great, in Southeast, which is a tough place to work. And then I ended up transferring to the 3rd district, which is closer to my home, which is not as tough. I mean, it's tough as police work is tough, but it's not as many shootings and stuff. But
I mean,
yeah,
obviously, I know where the 3rd district is because I'm a proud DC resident for 27 years. But for the people in the audience, could
Sure.
you like reach out with that?
So yeah, so the 3rd district is basically like north of the White House, up to around Columbia Heights. So it's sort of Columbia Heights, Adams Morgan, U Street, Shaw. It's like a square sort of in the middle of the city.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so I think the biggest difference, obviously, in the pandemic is that where I work is, I mean, there's a lot of bars, there's a lot of restaurants, and they're all closed. And so it's really wild seeing how the streets get super quiet at night. And, it's like, because everyone's picking up, they're doing their part, which is great to help out restaurants. So they're doing, takeout, but that calms down by 8. And then you get like a dog walkers from like 8 to 9. And then it's all like mentally ill people after 9, because there's no real drunks, right? So it's not like everyone's sort of in, and that's when the noise complaints start, right? Because everyone's now stuck in an apartment or a house, and like this is the first time they've all been in one place together, and no one realized how the insulation was. So it's
Or was it?
Yeah, how poor, right? Exactly, right. And it's like it's cycles too, right? Because people are calling on the people now, and those people would be out drinking until 1. So the people that are calling didn't even, for all intents and purposes, didn't even know they had neighbors like this, because they would go to bed at 10 and their neighbors would come in at 1:30 or 2, and they would just not even know, right? Those people coming in have had like a jumbo slice in them, and they're really loaded, and they just pass out. So all of this is new to them, and everyone's sort of now learning how to be a neighbor. So.
How many calls do you get for people reporting their neighbors for not properly social distancing?
Oh, so many snitches. Right? So everyone, like, I will say, just to be clear, a lot of police work is snitches, right? I mean, and not like, it's just like people calling on people, right? Like a lot of police work is like, there's people doing drugs, there's people hanging out, there's people smoking weed, there's people in the alley, whatever, right? And when it's bullshit is when they're doing drugs in the alley and they have guns and knives on them. That's when like they're full of shit, right? Because that's not how it works. But they're like, well, they'll get here sooner if I say they have guns on them. But anyway, so that all those people who are expert at like finding people in front of their building that aren't supposed to be there, now we're like, there's people playing basketball. There's like people very close in the park. There's, so there's a lot of concern. There was my favorite, there's calls for people on rooftops having parties. Not their rooftop, but like a rooftop they could see from like across the street.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
a lot of brown-nosing A+ type students in DC, right? They want extra credit. Really.
Oh, right. No, well, and it's all like, well, I'm doing the right thing, right? Because that's what it is, right? It's all people like, I'm being good, like make them be good, right? And the weird thing about this whole world is, yes, it's the mayor's order, and yeah, there's criminal penalties behind it, but you're not going to get locked up for it, right? Because that defeats the purpose of quarantine. So if I go up to somebody and they're like, hey, I'm like, you guys got to socially distance, and they're like, go fuck yourself. Like, yes,
right.
I could arrest them, right? But they're going to get released. They're not going to jail because that defeats the purpose. So I would then write them a note and then be like, go to court in a month, and then be right back on that corner, like an hour later being like, go fuck yourself. It doesn't, it doesn't work, right? So you just got to push people along,
Isn't there also an element though of in DC? Now I love DC, but it's like, why do they get to get away with it if I don't get to get away with it?
Oh yeah, well of course, right? It's like I've been good, like I've forsaken my, my Lululemon, and I've forsaken my Orange Theory. Like, what the fuck is up with these people, right? They're hanging out drinking. It's the other thing in DC. It's like it's an open air drug market. I'm like, all right, relax, Suzanne. This is not Amsterdam, all right? This idea that people are just like red tops, blue tops, like in the middle of the avenue, like slinging with signs. Like when they see 6 or more black guys together, it's like, you know what that is? Open air drug market. I'm like, all right, relax, right? So, there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of like, hey, how come, can we do this? Can we not do this? And I had someone like, excuse me, officer, can I go into Meridian Hill Park or Malcolm X Park? And I'm like, And the weirdest thing is everyone thinks because you're a cop, you know all the answers. And so I'm like, oh, I don't know because that's park police. And she's like, well, I think the National Guard is there. I'm like, yeah, I have no idea, right? Like, I mean, I can drive over and ask. It's the same thing. Some people ask, can I park here? I'm like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read the sign, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk. Like, I'm gonna read the sign that you should read. Like, I don't have like, I'm not some sort of like savant or monk about parking. Like, I don't know. So, these are all like, we have to take it, one day at a time because everything changes really quickly. So,
Are you at all concerned, or is the force concerned for what happens when we get back to normal and 4-week-long Mardi Gras breaks out in DC on Connecticut Avenue?
oh yeah, I mean, so if the guidance, if this sort of conventional wisdom is that we're going to be in peaks and valleys, right, and that we're going to like open back up and then try and get back to normal, and then we're probably going to shut down once things go up again, there's no doubt that like once the gates lift up, people are going to be like fucking park benches, right? They're going to be like having sex with fire hydrants, right? There's like, it's going to be like insane. So yeah,
Cats and dogs living together,
right? Because everyone's going to be like wanting to live their best life, like at that very moment, especially as the weather's
Really?
I mean, again, remember, it's like, I like, it's not terrible now, but it started in February, March. I think this is, it's going to be different, I think, in the summer. But yeah, I mean, I think people are going to be
Really?
out and about.
I cannot imagine going back to a restaurant until 2021 at the earliest. Like, think of all the things you have to touch and all the things that all the people that are touching the things that you're touching. Think of touching a menu.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that you are correct. And there are a lot of people who are going to do that. Like, they're not going to go to movie theaters. I mean, but I think there are a lot of people that once they allow people in are going to, like, look at the fish market, right? The fish market was like, they had to prevent people from themselves, right? They're like, you brought this in yourself. You all wanted crabs.
Yeah, the crabs used to be the worst thing you could get down there, and now it's Corona.
Heyo,
Zing. Right, yeah, sure.
should we field some audience questions, Cara? Are we ready for that?
Yeah, I think we are ready. In fact, we have so many good audience questions, and I'm glad we saved them for Graham. And I just want to shout out to all the people who not only submitted questions, but when they answered the question, who do you love more, picked me. Also, special shout out to several people who replied, wow, yes, you are needy, which I feel like is really on brand for us.
Wait, let's go back to, what was the first comment?
You said, one of the questions in our questionnaire is, who do you love more?
I'm looking at the results now.
Yes.
15.8%. All right. I know I'm not lovable and a little caustic, but whatever.
That cuts deep.
I got rejected from a job last week, and I asked the HR person, I'm like, I appreciate it, but as I continue my job search, any positive feedback, and her response was, well, we just like the other candidates more.
Well,
All right. Well, why don't you, beloved Cara, fire off the first question?
okay. We'll give you a softball first. For Pierce, who does your hair and makeup?
Wow, great question. Thanks for asking. Nobody. I don't even do my hair and makeup, as that poaching video.
Okay.
Makeup. This is just natural beauty. Although my one of the few bad things for me personally that I've experienced during this whole pandemic lockdown situation is I have broken out like a 15-year-old. I have gotten acne like
a 15-year-old.
Believe. Thankfully, I have a supply of Clearasil that I've been using.
I think it's anxiety, maybe. Okay, that's a good question.
I don't know if you saw I was gonna say, I don't know if you saw the picture on Instagram, but Kate Riley, friend of everyone, ended up, I guess, cutting Ian's hair, and it did not go well. And Brooke has wanted to cut my hair, and when I saw that video, I was like, see, no, right? And of course, the photo's perfect because the hair is all like totally fucked up in the back, and
Yeah.
she's hysterically laughing, and he's like, he can't see it yet, so he's just like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, but I'm sure
It's real bad.
he
It's real
felt
bad.
the bloody gash.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the back of his
Oh,
No,
head.
God.
I'm like, did he get
That was
ink? He did not get ink. That's blood.
Police were gonna get called to that place.
Yeah, no, it's domestic violence. Seriously.
Okay, here's a question that I think this panel might be uniquely suited to answer. It's a question from a reader in Arlington. Can an introvert and an extrovert survive in the same house during a quarantine? Asking for a friend. I'm quarantined with an extrovert, but because she's my child, I just feel guilty about it. I think if she were my partner, I might have other feelings. Graham, are you in an introvert, extrovert mixed
No, see,
relationship?
I think I'm quarantined with an extrovert. Like when two extroverts are like quarantined, that's when like it's like, you know, things are hard. I don't know. I feel like an introvert and extrovert should be like a yin and yang, where as long as the introvert doesn't mind the extrovert talking a lot, maybe it works better.
Is this how it goes with couples? It's been a while for me, but is that
I mean,
right?
I don't know. She's always saying stop, but I think this is how it goes.
Right. Okay. Pierce?
I wouldn't know anything about an accurate answer to this question.
No. Are you in a mixed introvert extrovert relationship?
Yes. I am the
Are you?
introvert. Sorry?
I said, which one are you? But okay,
I'm the
yeah, I'm
introvert. I'm an introvert disguised as an extrovert. And Kit is full on extrovert. But you know, we make it work. We make it work. I have my fortress of solitude 3 blocks away
Oh,
that I retreat to. It's similar to Graham's arrangement.
right.
Uh,
Oh, good. I was like,
only a little
it's
bit
called
closer.
Rock Creek Park where he shits everywhere, right? That's the.
And similarly, Avery erected a tent in her bedroom where she can go to get away from my, I don't know, probably my work conference calls. I had to guess what she was escaping from.
You know, Cara, I'm going to interrupt you now because it's time that you answer a question, and there's a great one on here that I think is right up your alley. Are you ready? We're going to play a little game of Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh, yes, we are.
So here's your offering: Dr. Fauci, Tom Hanks, and Justin Trudeau. All 3 people that have been in the headlines recently.
So easy. Oh, actually, it's not that easy.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna kill Tom Hanks, clearly. That's the easy one. I don't hate him, but if I had to choose. Like, I don't hate him, but I don't love him. But you know what I do hate is Forrest Gump. I hate that fucking movie. I mean, I've forgiven Tom Hanks for that over the years, but it wasn't good for us. I really don't want to have sex with Dr. Fauci. Like, I like him and I respect him, and I'm like down with the Italians or whatever. He looks like he would smell a little bit like mothballs, which is it's not really my thing. And I definitely do want to have sex with Justin Trudeau. Oh, is this, you know, it's a philosophical question about this. Are we assuming, and I've never been married, so I don't know, that if you marry someone, you are not going to fuck them? Because really, that's kind of a twofer, in which case I would choose Justin Trudeau.
We're getting the time to wrap it up.
So
when Cara was like, kill Tom Hanks, and then she was like, now here's where it gets hard. And I was like, oh, does she want to fuck him? She wants to fuck Tony Fauci so bad, right? Like, it's like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
So I bet if you have a one-night stand with Fauci, that guy is safe. You don't have to worry about anything.
No, yeah.
Although it feels really disrespectful to talk about him that way, because I wish him continued health and success and employment.
Graham, here's a question for you. You may know this given your extracurricular activity on the force. How do I get weed if I don't have a card or friends with benefits that I know of?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Glad you asked. Well, I mean, the people that want weed that don't know friends that have weed, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, it's a very weird, most people who want weed have friends who have weed. There was this guy called the Kush God in DC who would
what guy?
The Kush God,
Kush
Kush, and he had these cars that were like wrapped. It said Kush God, and it was like he would sell like a brownie or like a cookie, for $30, and it would come with weed. That was when like the Wild West were like, it was non-criminalized, but no one knew. And so he would start up like, and so yeah, the MPD impounded those cars. But it was nice while it lasted.
Well, I just Googled this to find an answer for our audience. And that's how I know that if you Google online delivery services for weed in the District of Columbia, there are a plethora of options. And I understand that they'll just bring it to your house. It's called the gray market. I read about it.
I don't understand this at all. I just know that, I will say this, in DC, before pandemic, anywhere you'd walk, you'd get punched in the face by swag weed. People, the smell.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
And it's not as bad anymore. I actually like it. The air quality is a lot better in
Weed air
DC.
quality, yeah.
Although I do find, again, and I don't, if you like smoking weed and that's your thing, have at it. I don't want to rain on your parade. But what is it about Georgetown underneath the Whitehurst Freeway? Is there?
Is that like
I run, I go Capitol Crescent, and it's like you're running through a cloud. I get contact high on my long runs.
Are there a lot of like waspy like Jets versus Sharks fights happening over there? I imagine like a lot of like embroidered blazers and dudes.
Yeah.
I think that's like,
It's like I'm on a cross between Grease and West Side Story and Dazed and Confused.
yeah, right. Instead of Nardo, it's like Tyler.
Someone asked about over poaching their eggs. It happens. Watch my video and you'll be
Pierce totally
enlightened.
didn't write that question for himself. That's totally someone
Graham?
else asked that question.
Yeah. Here's a question that I think is good for Graham. This is a question from a listener in Petworth. What do you do when someone insists on being less than 6 feet away from you in the bathroom of the liquor store?
Oh, I have so many questions.
911.
First, why are you using the bathroom? First of all, do liquor stores have bathrooms? None that, I mean, they do, but not for you. Also, invariably, it's not a large bathroom. So it's it's a room. I mean, are you having sex with some dude in the bathroom of the liquor store, which is cool, but then you shouldn't be 6 feet apart. Right?
Is it cool?
I mean, depending,
No,
that'd be
like,
a great
you ever
date,
see,
right?
you know, the
Yeah,
Humpty, it's like, I like the girls at the Boom. I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom, and there was a whole graph of like coolness and times had sex in a Burger King bathroom, and it goes up at 1 and then drops off dramatically after that, which I think is a very fair statement. I don't think.
So in sum, if I could sum your answer up, I think the answer is call 911.
Yeah, you're being held hostage. It's a hostile type situation. You're probably going to be missing a kidney. I would definitely call her.
Yes. Okay. Okay, that's good.
There's one here for Cara.
Yeah.
Cara, this is specifically for you. What are your thoughts regarding the pros and cons of bothering to put on a bra each day in this current era?
I'm glad you asked. Thank you. I do have a lot of thoughts about this. And I'll tell you, I went from no bra in the beginning, which frankly just isn't that comfortable. Like you think it will be, but when you're on conference calls all day and you got to look at yourself in the camera and you're like, oh, I better not sit up straight because then they're going to see my boobs are sagging. And that's not fun. And also for me personally, it makes me feel like I'm still in my pajamas, which is not a good mindset for me to be getting work done. So then I tried to wear regular bras. And what I realized is that basically all the clothes I used to wear, bras, jewelry, many of my pants and shirts are just incredibly uncomfortable. And I would never, ever wear them unless I was going to be forced to leave the house. So I've been basically wearing like the same 5 things. And one of those things is an old stretched out sports bra, which I feel like really walks that line between a real bra and no bra.
You know, that's interesting because there's a great, I mean, Graham, do you want to chime in on this before we go?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
yield my time.
And I guess it
you might
depends
have
too
an
on how
opinion.
big your breasts are, right? I mean, I think that's got to be a contributing factor. For the smaller breasted women that fit in a champagne cup, you know, those kind of girls, that's a thing. That's a size. Then
Coming up
go ahead.
next week.
And for like the Dolly Parton types, that's just painful. You've got to have some support for those girls. Thank you. See me after the show.
They have all my support. question, this is related to clothing in our current world. And this is hypothetical, so everyone can play. Would you rather, it's a would you rather be quarantined for life wearing leggings or sweats and no hair or makeup or professional haircuts or anything like that? Or would you rather go back to normal life, but be forced to wear a ball gown or a tuxedo all the time, every day, with fully done hair, makeup, and jewelry, regardless of your destination or activity?
Oh, that's easy. And I'll say this also as a guy, right? Tuxedo all day. You know how cool it is to wear a tuxedo to places that aren't a wedding hall? Like, if you wear a tuxedo on a Tuesday to get pizza at a slice joint, you're like the fucking king of the world. Like, everyone's like, that dude's important. He's wearing black tie to get a slice. Like, people think more of you. And I'm a big fan of that. Also, I'm a guy who during this pandemic, people think is crazy because I take a shower every day and I put actual pants on. And I get shit from my girlfriend because they're like, oh, what's the matter? I'm like, no, because I don't feel, I can't succumb to this, right? The world is very dark and it'll get much darker if I see this. So that's my line in the sand. So for me.
But you wear pants without an elastic waistband, like real pants?
Yeah, I wear jeans and they're getting tighter and tighter. It's a problem. But yeah, I'm no shame.
That's bold. Uncompromising.
It is.
I'm not a sweatpants guy. Never have been, never will.
Never? Not even like at home on Saturday night watching a movie?
Oh, I will wear leggings.
Wait,
No,
what?
I don't think men wear leggings.
Sweatpants.
No. Wait, what? No.
Men don't wear leggings, do they? I mean, they can, whatever you do.
Okay, not leggings, tights.
This is why you shit yourself. You should wear
What?
sweatpants.
What is happening?
I was in running shorts at the time, Graham,
That's unfortunate.
and I didn't. I took a detour. I
What do
just
you
was
mean
glad
by
there was no
tight?
people around at the time.
That's a euphemism. I get it.
You know-
Wait, do you
you know
not
what?
have comfortable sweatpants? Because I've got for Christmas some, like, I don't know, Ralph Lauren, I don't know where they're from, but they're like the most comfortable sweatpants I've ever had in my entire life. And they're like the jam. So I would definitely look into like good sweatpants before you go all, because leggings are constrictive, right? I feel like, right?
Oh, so you're saying that I have not experienced all.
I don't know. I'm saying if your choice is like, you know what, I look at a pair of tights and I look at a pair of sweatpants and you're like tights all day, your sweatpants are made of like cardboard. Something's wrong with your sweatpants. I'm concerned.
I just don't like to be all,
Yeah, we got a question from what about lounge pants? Question from Derek in the chat.
Lounge pants.
What are lounge pants? Is that like Hugh Hefner pajama bottoms?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're like the man equivalent
Join
of
me at the
yoga.
lounge, ladies.
Right. They're crotchless. No.
They're what?
Yeah, I think they're just like flowy. They're like flowy sweatpants, right? Like
Yeah, they're like a little thinner. Right? Derek, is that what you meant? Lounge pants? Oh, Mick McFay says you can get jeans with an elastic waistband, Graham. Maybe that's like a half step for you as this quarantine continues.
right.
for 6 months.
Right. When Graham Campbell gives up, that's when that happens. Right? Exactly. I'm ready for it. The male jeggings.
I think there's a loophole in this question because if you had to wear fancy shoes with your ball gown, I would have to stay inside forever. As long as I can wear whatever shoes I want to go out in a ball gown. But I want everyone else to be done having the Rona because I don't want to get it.
Yeah. Why don't we do one more question and then say our goodbyes and wrap this up? Does that work for everybody?
Yeah. I mean, although it's funny because likewise, like I'm only going to get drunker. Like, it's not like there's any, right? It's like, no, I have the helicopter's waiting. Whenever, and someone said, there was a tweet that someone said, right? Like, now the saddest part about being on the phone is you can't be like, oh, I have to go, I had something, right? Like, everyone's like, no, you don't. You can stay on the phone. Like,
yeah, if you get a kid, that helps. Be like, oh, Avery needs me. I gotta jump off.
You're like pinching Avery, like, yo.
Okay, let's end.
We can do this forever. I just noticed that the number of viewers is like.
We don't need them. We don't need anybody.
There were never any viewers all along. This was never on. Which leads me to my next question. And this one comes from Louise in Alabama, allegedly. Is this all real? Or did I manifest it myself?
Or to paraphrase, is this a real life or is it fantasy? Is that what she's trying to say?
Yes, or the partner sister follow-up question. Why are you doing this? Graham, we'll start with you.
I think it has to go back to the fact that my father never loved me. And that's a lot of the reason why I mean, that's why you see me in that square. It's because I can get hugged a lot.
My favorite ever joke that I saw on the internet was, and I wish I knew who it was because I would credit this person endlessly. It's a comedian or someone in New York that said, I'm hosting a comedy show tonight with comedians and strippers. And I'm just going to introduce everyone by their first name and the age they were when their dad left. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. Good stuff.
Cara?
Why are we doing this? Well, I am incredibly needy, and not being able to get on stage for however long it's been now is making me a sadness. And also, I would like to be famous when this is over. So I feel like
When
we're just
this
going to keep
pandemic is
creating
over?
viral content until it works. Not like coronavirus viral, but like, famous viral.
Right.
I tried some pandemic parenting videos, but they didn't really stick. Tried to make my first meme, and now here we are doing this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a creative person and I just feel the urge to keep creating no matter what the circumstances are. You?
I'm here because you said you wanted to do a talk show.
That's exactly right. I have always wanted to do a talk show.
Good time.
I'm here because I need all the help I can get figuring out Zoom. And clearly I have got a lot of work to do. I'm just glad that we were able to get this stream working and that people watched, and that I got to see your beautiful face, Graham Campbell.
This is a lot of fun. Thanks for having. This is great. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a lot of fun.
And Cara, do we have anything else? I mean, do we have it? Graham, do you have anything to plug?
I'll be in the 3rd District Saturday from 3 o'clock till 1:30. So hopefully I don't see you.
Graham, what are you going to yell over the cop loudspeaker on your next shift?
That's a tough one. I got to yell at someone for leashing their dog. Like I was like, put that dog on the leash, and they were like, oh. Yeah, I like to use the PA a lot. I will say the lack of traffic is hurting my PA fund because there's not as many people to yell at.
Do you go with the classic sir or ma'am, or are you more of like a dude person? Like, sir, please move your car. Or, dude, get out of the way. Like, what's your?
I did get to use. It's funny. I did get to use my favorite line that I saw before I even became a cop when I was in high school in New York. I was somewhere walking down in Manhattan, and there was a guy parked in the crosswalk, and I got to use the line that patrol car used on that guy, which is, white van, move your car to the crosswalk. That's why they call it a crosswalk, so you can walk in it, right? And the guy was like, oh, that was my favorite.
Good for you. That's a good moment.
Yeah, I couldn't pull off the other greatest thing I saw, which I can't do, was there was a fire engine at a red light, and there was a young lady crossing the street in front of the fire engine, and she was taking her time, and the light had turned green, and so she was sort of like looking up the fire truck, like smiling and curling her hair, and the driver of the fire truck leans out of the window, and he goes, "You don't look that good to walk that slow, honey. Let's go. Come on, move." And I was like, oh. Yes, true.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Right? Yeah. Come on, let's go.
I want to plug our next show. We're going to do this the same time next week because this one went so well. And we're taking suggestions or self-nominations for guests.
It's an easy bar to meet, so you can jump right over this one.
What?
I said you can jump over this bar. Look, if I can be in here, I mean, anyone can knock this out.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Graham. You're okay.
We actually had some bits. We were going to do a 3 truths and a lie with Graham, but we ran out of time.
I don't shit myself in a park, but I'm okay.
We didn't play the game. We didn't play the game with Graham. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that another time.
Yeah.
This is like it's cut for time. This is like Johnny Carson where we're going.
Sorry, yeah.
I just want to do a plug for our collaboration with Washington Improv Theater. We're doing the Perfect Liars Club Home Edition again with 4 fantastic performers from Washington Improv Theater. For people who have never told stories with us before. So I've heard their stories. Their stories are great. They will be posted for your viewing next Wednesday.
Nice.
And then on Wednesday, May 6th, I think that is the day we will be doing our live interrogation. You get to do your questions in advance after viewing the stories. We did it last time. I'm a little bit more skilled in Zoom now. And hopefully I'll be a lot more skilled by the time May 6th rolls around. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't miss that. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, like Cara says, we're going to do this again soon. Next week is soon.
And we'll answer the questions that we didn't get to next week.
Yeah, or we'll have time to submit, more. I mean, there was only 500.
There were only 5. Each one more beautiful than the last.
True.
Exactly. Well, Graham, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Stay
Thanks
safe.
everybody.
Wash your hands. Wear a mask.
Yes.
Yeah, be nice to each other, be kind. Find reasons to get along, not reasons to argue over petty bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Was that for me? Was that specifically meant for me?
that was specifically for you, Cara.
Also, if you
No,
feel
that's-
you might have a fainting episode and you have a house with floors, stack board games or a soft item at the bottom of the stairs so you can protect yourself.
I feel like the real advice might be don't go up the stairs.
Okay, yeah, sure. That would be the better call. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
You do, don't go up the stairs. Thanks everybody for watching. We realized this was kind of a hot mess out of the gate, but we think we regained ourselves midway through.
Oh, yeah.
Once Cara
Oh,
turned her
yeah.
mic on and we figured out how to screen share and all that, but what else you got to do, right?
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
We'll get
We
better
love
over time.
you.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody.